Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I came up with a fairly easy look. I'm just using maybe 2 or 3 eyeshadows. I believe 3, yeah. And I am using my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, which I'm obsessing over and I'm super excited. I use a lot of different products in this video that are new that I have never tried out before. I'm also using a lipstick from the Desi and Katie Dose of Colors collab. More Creamer Please. It's just such an amazing lipstick. I love it and I'm so glad that I bought it. But yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and see how I got this really easy everyday or whenever you would want to wear this look, then just go ahead and keep watching. Today I am going to be using a bunch of new products that I have bought myself, that I have been sent. Most of them I bought by myself because let's be real, I'm not that important. So I already went ahead and moisturized my face with some Cetaphil moisturizer. I'm pretty doubtful that Cetaphil isn't cruelty free, but that's the one that has been working for me right now. But I am looking for a different moisturizer that is either equally or similar to Cetaphil. And I heard E.L.F has a really good one, so I definitely want to try that out. But I did use my Cetaphil moisturizer. After that, I'm going to go ahead and apply some primer. And the primer I am using is by Wet n Wild. It is their Photofocus primer, previously known as their Coverall primer, but they just changed the name, I guess, so it could fit to like their whole Photofocus collection, which I'm a huge fan of and I love them. I love Wet n Wild obviously for, you know, ethical reasons, and they're just really good products. I love them, super affordable. You just can't go wrong with Wet n Wild. Well, first of all, I'm going to spray a little bit of toner spray onto my face just to further moisturize and just keep everything looking fresh and dewy. A little background on my skin. My skin is dry, normal to dry. So I definitely love to keep as much moisture in my skin as possible. So thus using the Cetaphil moisturizer, which is really great for all skin types, I believe. But of course I definitely want to switch over to a cruelty-free brand. This foundation primer is actually really nice because it is a moisturizing primer, but it still has the effect of filling in pores, also filling in fine lines, and just keeping the skin looking hydrated and moisturized. And I'm a fan, and I love it, and I've been using it for months now. Okay, I'm going to be using an E.L.F. Illuminator. It's just basically, it looks like this. It doesn't have like the name or anything on it anymore because mine rubbed off, but I'm just going to take a little bit on the back of my hand, take my finger and just pat it in the areas where I want to illuminate heavily. So I'm going to highlight, of course, on top of the cheekbone, the nose, Cupid's bow. You don't necessarily have to be extremely precise with this because foundation is going to go ahead and top it. I don't usually do this on an everyday basis, but when I want a more obvious dramatic glow, this is something I like to do. So I have my Real Techniques beauty sponge ready for me to use. It is damp, and I'm going to take my all-time favorite drugstore foundation, which is the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation in the shade Golden Beige. This foundation is just a dream. It matches my skin tone extremely well. It's just an amazing foundation. It has, I would say, medium to full, if you build it, coverage. Just blends out amazing. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and apply a few dots of that onto my face, and then I'm just going to blend it out. And for me, I like to apply a light layer of foundation first. That way I just kind of cancel out any redness, any unwanted spots. I just love this foundation. The finish, I would definitely say, would be a satin finish. So I definitely do believe that anybody with either oily or dry skin can use this foundation, just because it's super versatile. And if you do have extremely oily skin, just make sure you set it. I don't really set the foundation as much because, again, my skin is dry. So I just like to keep as much moisture in my skin as possible. So for concealer, I'm going to be using my LA Girl Pro Conceal HD concealer in the shade Natural. And I really didn't think that I would like a concealer with this type of undertone, just because I usually tend to lean towards, you know, foundations and concealers that have like more of a yellow undertone. Alright, my camera decided to stop recording. But this one has a salmony undertone, which is really great for brightening and concealing dark spots on the face. I really love that concealer. I used to use their concealer in porcelain, and it was just too white for me. It wasn't, you know, concealing the areas that I needed it to conceal. It was brightening, obviously, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. So I tried this shade accidentally, honestly, and I'm glad that I bought it on accident. So yeah, just gonna blend that out underneath the eye. Make sure you get this inner portion of the eye that usually tends to get darker than other areas around the eye. I'm gonna bring this on top of my lid as well. If you do have dark circles, that's the area you do want to concentrate the most on. That way it's brightened, concealed, and you just look like you got 20 hours of sleep when initially you only got 4. Story of my life. Working the nightlife is just another dimension, really. It really is. You see things that you would not see in a normal job, obviously. It's fun, but it's just wild sometimes, and you definitely don't get any sleep, so yeah, I can vouch for that. So to set underneath my eyes, I'm going to be using, oh yeah, of course, all these products that I'm using in my tutorial are going to be cruelty free and for the most part vegan, so just thought I'd address that. Okay, so I'm going to tap out any creases that have already occurred, which for me, creasing is inevitable. Like, my under eyes always crease, and so therefore I have to bake. Oh, and the powder I am using to bake is the give me one second, LA Girl Pro Powder HD High Definition Setting Powder in the shade Banana Yellow. If you do have dry skin and you struggle with cakey makeup, or, you know, just dry looking skin after you apply makeup, you definitely do not want to bring your baking powder your baking powder below the area that you need it, just because if you do bake in that area, it's going to set it to where it might look a little cakey or dry. So for myself, I like to just keep my bake really close to the lash line, just making sure I'm getting all the creases covered by the bake. And if I bring it a little too low, I simply just immediately brush the powder off. So it is getting set, but it's not being baked, if that makes any sense. And I noticed a huge difference when I started doing that, because before I used to bring my bake all the way down here and it just didn't look nice. It just looked really cakey, it looked really ashy, and it was just not good. So I just keep it in that area now, and I'm gonna let that sit for just a bit. I don't like to leave it on a tremendous amount of time, but I do like to leave it maybe for like a minute. And then I'll take a brush to dust everything off. And the brush that I'm using is by E.L.F. It is their blush brush, and I really love using this brush to wipe off my bake. My all-time favorite highlighter would be an eyeshadow from Tarte, and it is from their Tartelette in Bloom palette. If you do have that palette, use Funny Girl as a highlight, and it's amazing. I would be using that right now, but it already ran out, so I can't use it anymore. Another highlighting product that I love a lot is the Wet n Wild Precious Petals highlighter. Mine is super beat up already, so you can see that it's trashed, but it still works well. I'm going to take that on a Real Techniques angled highlighter brush. I'm going to take a little bit of that product on my brush, obviously, and I'm going to spray it with that setting spray I used earlier. Kind of wave it so it's not completely, you know, immersed in water. And I'm just going to let that dry off, and I like to grab my brush by basically the end, and I like to tap my highlight onto my cheekbone rather than swiping it. I feel like when I tap it, it just blends out easily and it looks amazing, just like that. And once your brush is 90% dry from the toner spray, I like to just make sure everything is blended. Oh, I forgot that I was just sent some highlighters. Ooh, I'm gonna use these after. So again, I was sent these products by my friend with the website called bombbeautyproducts.com. I don't know if it's live yet, but she sent me some eyeshadows, an eyeshadow base, glitter, a fan brush. So I'm definitely gonna use, wait, what is this? Oh yeah, she sent me a brand called Be Bella. It's their glow dust. It looks like this. Look at that, they're so pretty. I already swatched this one and it's phenomenal, so I'm gonna use that on my cheeks right now. It doesn't say the names of the shades, but this is cruelty free and I'm going to use it right now. I'm going to use actually the fan brush that she sent me as well, so I'm going to get some of that on the brush. Oh yes, super drama. Nice. And the fan brush is also by Be Bella. It is the number NG355. Another area that I like to highlight is the tip of my nose, the Cupid's bow. That's pretty much it. A little bit on top of my brow. Just a little. So the reason why I like to highlight the tip of my nose rather than, you know, go ahead and highlight the bridge is because I don't like to attract a lot of attention to my nose, because my nose is not symmetrical. So I don't contour my nose either. I do bronze it, but I'll show you what I do later once I do my bronzer, which I'm about to do next. For bronzer, I am using my LA Girl Pro Face HD High Definition Matte Pressed Powder in the shade Classic Tan. It looks like this. Absolutely love using this powder as a bronzer because the shade is just something I've never seen before. It's not warm to where you're gonna look super orange, but it's not extremely cool tone that you're gonna look like a skeleton. But it's just such a pretty color, and I feel like if you have fair skin like me and struggle finding a nice bronzer that doesn't make you look like an Oompa Loompa, try this one out, and I guarantee you'll love it. And the formulation is just beautiful because it just blends out easily, and it's highly pigmented, so you do need just a tiny amount of it. I'm using a Real Techniques brush, their multitask brush. Oh my gosh. I take whatever is left on my brush and I simply just bronze the bridge of my nose. I feel like if I put some bronzer on here, it just makes it look a little bit more natural, and it just retracts attention from the non-symmetry-ness, if that makes any sense, from my nose. Okay, so I'm going to just clean up my bronzer a little bit just to kind of get a sharp contour, if I may. I'm going to take a little bit of the setting powder I used earlier, take it on my sponge, and I'm going to suck in my cheeks. And just run it along my cheekbone. I don't like to leave this powder on for a long time because I still want my face to look as natural as possible. I just needed a quick cleanup. So once I finish both sides, I will just blend everything away like that. I'm taking my big bronzer brush again just to kind of blend if it got a little too sharp, and then just bring some on the jawline, down the neck. I think that's pretty much it for my foundation routine, but we are going to go ahead and get started with the eyes. I am going to be using my Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe, and I'm super excited. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with that. To prime my eyelids, I'm going to be using the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. I'm just going to take it straight from the tube and apply it on my lid. Since I want these eyeshadow colors to pop, I am going to be using a white base rather than just a regular eyeshadow base. I'm going to take my finger and just blend it. I'm going to take this color from the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette, and I'm just going to take this shade right here. I'm not going to be using this palette, but I'm going to take this white shade just to set everything. To start off, I'm going to be taking the Jaclyn Hill palette, obviously, and I'm going to take this yellow shade right here, like a mustardy yellow, and I'm going to work that into the crease. So I'm just gradually building up that transition shade to the intensity that I want it to be, and I really want this look to be extremely yellow based. Alright, so I know that this looks fucking weird as fuck right now, but I had some complications with, you know, my eyeshadow, so I just basically had a full lid of eyeshadow over here, but I was just not digging it at all, so I just decided to wipe it all off and just leave the bottom portion of what I had done, which is basically apply eyeliner in the lid or in the waterline and just smoke it out. So I'm just going to apply the yellow eyeshadow again onto my lid. So on this eye, I already have that completed, and I added a little bit of shimmer on the lid. I hope I'm in focus. This literally looks like a SpongeBob makeup tutorial. Okay, so for under the eye, I'm going to take a little bit more of that yellow shade and just blend it in with the brown. These colors right here, this one and this one. I'm going to take a little bit of that yellow shade and just kind of smoke that color out. Actually, I'm going to take this color right here and apply that into the outer portion of my eye, just to kind of warm it up further and deepen the crease slightly. And now would be the time to touch up that lid color. The lid color I'm using is by ColourPop. It's one of their Super Shock eyeshadows. It was like their collaboration with Hello Kitty, and it is in the shade Juicy Apple. I'm going to put my eyelashes on and then I will be right back. Okay, so I already applied my lashes. I used this brand called Amazing Shine. It is their 311T lashes. You can't see it, but if anything, I'll post everything down below if I can find them online. For lips, I already added my Dose of Colors Desi / Katie collab. I love this lipstick. It is in More Creamer Please. I'm just going to add a little bit of lip liner just to create a little bit more dimension. Okay, and I'm going to add an inner corner highlight. I'm just going to use my Wet n Wild Precious Petals highlight in the inner corner. And I forgot to add a brow highlight, so and I'm going to mix this shade with, again, the Wet n Wild, or actually I think I'm just going to use this one. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh my god. That shade looks so much similar to MAC's Shroom. I remember I bought that eyeshadow because of her, because of Jaclyn Hill, and then I lost it, and then I stopped using MAC because I don't believe they're cruelty free. Oh, how exciting. I'm actually going to take a little bit of that in the inner corner as well. Alright, so I believe this is the finished look, y'all. Alright guys, so we have reached the end of the video, and I hope y'all enjoyed this fairly easy eyeshadow and makeup look. Very, very simple, I know, but I felt like I actually got a request to do this makeup look because I posted a picture on Instagram featuring the makeup that I'm wearing right now. So I definitely wanted to make a tutorial on it, even though it was super easy. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Comment down below what video you would like to see next, and I'll see you all in my next video.